Hello, and welcome to Beginning Graham Technique. My name is Aaron Duremo, and I will be your instructor today. I do have to say before we begin that this is not a pure Graham technique, as I do include elements from other techniques in it, but the elements are still the same. We will be working on contraction, release, and spiral, and how to proficiently technically use them. So, without further ado, let's begin. A Graham technique class always begins in parallel six position, stomachs in, facing the front. And we begin by lowering to the floor with the Rondejong, like so. Cross right foot over front. And relax into your sits bones. Take 2 deep breaths in. And fall forward over your hips. Relax into your hip seams. Fall back into your arms, pick up your hips. Try and suck in your stomach and contract as hard as you can here. Create a crease in the pelvis. And release the hips up and through. Lower the hips down to the ground while keeping the head back. And walk the hands forward. And relax. Deep, deep breaths. Come up, switch legs, other side. Fall over, relax into it. Come back, deep contraction, deep pelvic contraction. Release up to the sky. Release the hips down onto the floor. And slowly walk forward. Your head is the last thing to go down. Come up, switch legs again. All right, we're ready to begin. So our warm-up exercise goes as so. The head goes forward, side, back, side. Then we go again, the chest curves, chest, 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 down, reach all the way up. Release through and fall to the floor. Good so far? We fall to the floor and we do 6 contractions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On 7 we shoot up, and 8 we relax down. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. To be clear, this is a flat back here, and we're pushing through our shoulder and achieving a flat back while we slightly hinge forward. This isn't a huge stretch, it's just a hinge forward, hinge forward. So we do 2 of those, 2 contractions down, and we come up to center. 2 flat backs to the left, 2 contractions down, around. And we stretch to the left, release, come back, center. Stretch, release, back, center. And we finish the side. We go to the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, chest, 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 up, reach, stretch forward, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the way out. Stretch and release. Stretch. And finish. That's our warm up. I'll be doing it with you, so just follow along. Ready to begin. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Back and side. Down. Up. Stretch forward and fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, get ready, 7, 8, fall, contract, up, fall, contract, down, down, around to stretch, back, recover, side, back, recover, fall, left side, relax into the chest. This is just a warm up, just to get your body moving. Up, fall forward, down, 2, 3, 4, contract, 5, 6, 7, 8, flat back, 2, contract, up, flat, contract, around, stretch, back, recover, stretch, back, recover, arms lower down. Excellent. Okay, now that we're a little warm, let's begin. So, the most important part of the Graham technique, arguably next to the release, is the contraction. So, the contraction has a few attributes to it. For those of you who don't know what a contraction is, it looks something like this. It's a curvature in the spine that starts from the base of the spine and shoots out at the crown of the head. The pelvis is contracted, the torso is contracted, and the chest is contracted. And basically, it's decompressing all of that, and you're turning your body into the source and ball of energy. So it looks like this because I'm starting from the bottom, and I'm pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, shooting energy out until it shoots out the crown of my head. An important factor about contraction is that the shoulders are always staying over the hips. And in relation to each other, there should always be a clear line from the shoulder to the hip. So as this curves in, the shoulder and the hip have a clear relationship that they can't break. It's not a contraction that breaks that relationship. Yeah? So, the first exercise, primarily of a Graham class, is the bounce series. It starts in contraction, and you fall over, crown of the head to the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what's happening is I am deepening my contraction every single time. We're going to do 12 of those, and then we're going to release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do 12 in the second position, finish 6, and then we're going to finish in a contraction, just right here, your best contraction you can have. I'm going to do it facing sideways so you can see my body while I'm doing it. I'm figuring out the stereo system. There we go. Ready? Contract. 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, release, flat back. Up, open, contract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more. Release up, back, and contract. Full back contraction. Try and feel what it feels like to suck in all of your innards up into your chest, and then compress, while also maintaining length between your shoulder and your head. Good. Take a second and think about how deepening that contraction every single time felt, because that's probably the most important feeling in all of Graham, in fact, in most of modern, is the contraction. There's another attribute to this that I want to think about whenever we do it the second time. It's the release. You achieve a flat back, as you can see, from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head. And you're doing this almost through the same energy line that you achieve a contraction. It's about shooting energy up through the base of the pelvis and out through the head, while this release is from starting in the back of the pelvis and shooting it straight out through the line of the head. Releases usually roll up from the base of the pelvis all the way up to the head like so. Take note of where the initial action begins. We're down, and it starts in the pelvis. This action starts the release. Yes? Give it a try this time around. Ready? Contract. Over. 2, 3. 11, 12. Release. 2, 3, up. 4, 5, 6. 1. 4, 5, 6. 6 more. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit the contraction. Back of the neck is not crushed. It is lengthy. You're just maintaining a slight contraction down here in the pelvis. Just try and feel it. Feel around however you need to do to maintain that contraction. And finish. Excellent. So, brief introduction to the contraction. I always recommend keeping a journal for every single class that you do. So every different class, you have a different journal, and every day that you take that class, write down the date at the top, write down all the exercises that you do, the timing of those exercises that helps you for retention, what those exercises work, and also the relevance of those exercises to dance in general, to like your dance in general. I highly recommend keeping a journal. It's so helpful. So for example, that exercise, you would put on today's date, and you'd put on bounces, and you'd write down what I basically said earlier. And then that way you have a reference to come back and go, oh, bounces. I know the bounces, yeah? Okay. Next exercise, drop series. So we're gonna expand on that contraction idea. In a contraction to begin, just a slight curve of the spine, relaxed neck. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So we fall over, crown of the head touches the feet on 1, 2, 3, and 4. We release up to a flat back. On 5 and 6, we contract just the pelvis. We maintain completely the shape of our chest and contract the pelvis. 1, 2. It's such a light movement. Sorry, 5, 6, and on 7 we release the pelvis. So we go contraction of the pelvis, release the pelvis. 7, come up 8. Yes, we do that 4 times through. I'll show you one more time. We're in a contraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release 7 and 8. 4 times through. We're gonna end. Oh, we're not ending quite yet. So we do that 4 times through, but then we do a release series up. So we come up from that 4th one, and then we do a strong high release from right here, starting at the pelvis. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To break that down, what's happening is we're starting with our pelvis, and we're releasing up through our pelvis, and then we're releasing through our torso, releasing through our chest, and then the head comes up on 4, and then 5, start the pelvis, 6, then chest, 7, and then head, 8. We do that 4 times. 4 times drop series, 4 times this release and contraction series. You can follow along. Testing music. Yes, that'll work. Ready, in contraction, and 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just pelvis, 7, 8. Down, 2, 3, 4. Just the pelvis, up and up. Down, 2, 3, 4. Just the pelvis, and up and up. Release it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Finish in a deep contraction. Excellent. We're going to do it again. And I know there's a lot of repetition here, and the combinations are very, very simple, but I guarantee you, to even introduce someone to this technique, it takes starting with the basic movements and building the right muscles. You're using different muscles, you're using muscles very, very, very deep inside of you to maintain the energy and the vitality that is required of Graham and other modern techniques. So we're needed to start at this very base level. So it's good to do each of these combinations twice and to take it down in the journal and review after class. What did we just learn? Yeah? Let's try it one more time. This time, it just popped to my mind. This time, remember that the crown of the head is touching, not touching, just at least aiming towards the feet at every time. Because it's not a true contraction if you're like this. The head has to be down. Why? To maintain the curvature of the spine. Yes? So think about that next time. Deep, deep contractions. Let's try it again. Contraction. Over. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more times. One more time. Over. Up and up. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Your back should be getting sore. Up. One more time. Maintain the contraction. Play around with the contraction a little bit. Maintain the shape. Keep a strong contraction. Okay, good job. Well, let's move on. Pause. There we go. So, next exercise is extension of the legs. So we're going to start right leg over the left. Our feet are pointed, kind of holding ourselves up through our pinky toes. So our arms are extended out over our knees, and we're in a contraction. So it starts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again to the left. Let's break this down for a second. What's happening? I'll just face this way again for a second. We're contracted. First off, we're releasing throughout this whole thing. So that same aspect of the release is coming back in here. But we're adding something new now, the spiral. And the spiral is achieved primarily, it's achieved through a lot of ways. But right now, today, we're just going to focus on the shoulder blades, otherwise known as the wings. The wings and the shoulder blades, they primarily secure the spiral. So facing this way, if I want to spiral this direction, I'm going to use this shoulder blade pull down in my back, and that's going to cause me to spiral this way. Down in my back, and I'll spiral this way. It's this action in the back and through the shoulder blades that spiral is achieved. So that's what's happening here. We're in contraction. We release up while simultaneously pulling back in this shoulder to spiral to this corner. The head is in profile looking at the corner. 4 counts back. Then we do it to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going on. So then it goes a quick release, spiral to that corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. For 4 counts, arms are in first, legs are still here. For the next 4 counts, 5, 6, 7, 8, we go 5, 6, 7, 8. And then through 1 through 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring everything back. 5, 6, 7, contract 8. Yes? One more time with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do that 3 times in a row. And then to finish, we're gonna go 1, we're gonna push out of this right hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, going on to the left hip. 5, 6, 7, contract 8 to finish. And then we're gonna stop and do it to the left side. Yeah? Follow along for now. We're gonna go over some more attributes after you try it your first time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, contract, 7, 8. 1, 2, slow spiral. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slow extension. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, strong spiral. Left shoulder blade. Up. Extend. Open arms. Come back. One more time. Contract. Open. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Contract 8. Finish. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Contract 8. There we go. So, right side. Some things to think about. We are coming here. The pelvis is highly involved. I wanted you just to focus on the wings that time. Just focus on one aspect. Now, as we do it to the left side, please focus on another aspect as well, the hips and the pelvis, because they are absolutely involved in this. This exercise is actually more about them than it is the wings. I just wanted to introduce spiral to you a little bit. So, something to think about is on this beginning part, the same thing is happening in the hips as is happening in the shoulders. If we're pulling back on our shoulder to reach that spiral, what's happening in the right hip? Pulling back in the right hip. Both the shoulder and this hip are pulling into their creases to maintain the spiral. Same thing is happening, let me switch legs, whenever we extend the leg. So we're here, we go 1, 2, pulling back in this right hip, 3, 4, pull back more in the right hip as you open, spiral more, pull this leg back and this leg extends forward. Pulling back in the hip, release the arm, that's all that changes, and then this hip pulls back to the center position. Yes? Think about the pelvis this time. The head, just try and make sure the head doesn't go crazy. Just keep it simple up there. Focus on the wings and the shoulders and the hips right now. Yes. Let's try it again. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Extension. 2, 3, 4. Extend. Open. And come back. 2 more times. Contract down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really work your left leg on this extension. Up. Growing, growing. Left leg is working. Open. Maintain it. Come back. And now the finish. Pushing through our left hip to make this happen. Back. Contract and finish. Very nice. Let's take a break for a second and stretch out our abs, our core, and our hip flexors. Here, I'll face this way. Pull out of your lower back and slowly lower your hips to the floor. I understand that this technique can be very, very hard on the hip flexors, the hip joints, and of course the core, so you always want to do this stretch. Pull back and stretch out the back a little bit. Go to the left. Go to the right. Come back. Move through your back a little bit. Contract and release. This is actually the same thing. We're contracting, releasing. Deep breaths. Okay, moving on. Next, well, let me just see what song we have next. That'll work. Okay, we're going to do a deep contraction next. In this deep contraction, you are doing a center split. Arms are out, and it's almost as if you're sitting in an outdoor hot tub or something. You know how you'd sit like this? You know, it's very much like that. It's just slightly more extended, and your hands are not blades, but relaxed and normal. Your shoulders are slightly picked up with a slight bend, yes? So it starts with a deep contraction. You're doing a contraction here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Full-blown contraction. You need to have pelvis, your core, your chest, and then your head joining in on this contraction. Yeah. And our arms are turning out, engaging the serratus anterior, this muscle right on the side seam of your body, turning out and going out and going outward. All while this is happening, our feet are flexing. Yes? So let me show again. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down. 5, 6. Crown of the head to the floor. Release 7 and 8. We're just going to do that 4 times in the center, ending in a sharp contraction, just like this. 1. So 4 times in the center, finish on the sharp contraction. We'll try it a couple times. So the first time, just try to get your bearings straight. Try and start feeling it for the first time and figuring out how to manage it. Ready to begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Contract. Sharp. Hold. Release. You're done. Pause. Okay, cool. Take a moment. Reflect on how that felt. It's a very deep contraction. You should really be feeling your stomach and core by now. You should also be feeling a slight tension in your chest, or actually a slight release in your chest because you're decompressing it and opening it and contracting the chest and releasing the chest. So you should have good feelings all around kind of from this, is what I'm trying to say. Other than keeping the crown of the head going to the floor, which is really what we're focusing on today with these kind of exercises, try and not get too stiff. Just because it's a contraction doesn't mean it's stiff. A contraction is a line of energy. A contraction is a curved spine achieved through a certain line of energy that is shooting up through it. So don't think that a contraction means you're stiff or something. You can't move. A contraction is actually very flow oriented. It actually is what allows you to move in such a flow, like a lot of contemporary dancers do nowadays. So just think about that while you do it again. I'm going to face the side this time so you can see my back. Alrighty. We're ready to go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 5, up. 2 more times. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And contract. Hold it. Release. You're done. Excellent. One more little exercise and we're getting off the floor. Let me find the right song here. I think it was 11. Yep, that's it. Okay. So the last exercise, we're going to cross our legs just like we did in the beginning, and our arms are straighting out. We're going contraction, release, contraction, release, contraction, oh, sorry, saying that wrong. Contraction, release, contraction, hover. Contraction, release, contraction, hover. We're doing that 8 times. And then we're gonna go stretch, 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 stretch. Picking up our hips off the floor and putting weight into our arm. Just to get moving a little bit, yeah? 4 of those. And then we're gonna finish with stretch over to the left, release. This is a lot faster, don't let it fool you. Stretch, release, up, through, down, and open. Yes? Just follow along with me. Let me try it again, hold on. Yeah. Ready, open, hover, open, hover. Four more. Excellent. Up. Up. Stretch. Over and up. Stretch. Over and up. Through. And release down to the side. Great. I'm going to stop the video now. Oh, pause. Okay. I'm going to stop the video now, and I will see you in the next video, part 2. We'll do some center.